Hello everyone! It's that time again, hold on, let me check. Yes, manager. The Noon of Violet is at our door for this new Walpurgisnacht. But don't worry, with this manual of 2561 pages, you should know everything there is to know about this ordeal. What, you want the short version? Alright, you can watch this video then. In this video, I'll talk about the ordeal itself, both easy and hard, and then I'll go over different teams you can use for missions in general, before going into the specifics of some trickier ones. But let's start with a little story summary, because I decided to narrate this event more than the previous one, where our sinners get in the Lobcroft facility again, getting infos on the Sephirot. They come in right in time for a new ordeal, the Dawn of Violet. Our sinners do like most of the fan base and get in without reading. So we go through 3 waves of 3 fruits of understanding, having to beat them up quickly. Finish all 3 waves and that's it! You have come... Wait, what's that? Oh. Our sinners all die from a stealth falling upon them. Wait, there's something written on it. I can read it. It says... Get Violet Noon. Ha! Classic. So yeah, they have their first experience with Violet Noon. Faust manages to save Dante in extremis, and Violet Noon disappears. They get lectured by Hod, reminding them of the manual and of red shield bullets that they'll use to endure the shockwave next time. To be fair, they just could have stood outside the door. But anyway, that was all for the easy ordeal, where you only go through the 3 fruits waves. In the hard version, you go through the exact 3 same waves, however you add up Grant Us Love as the final boss, with an event that can heal you right before. Once you've beaten it, the ordeal is done. So now let's see from a bit closer. Fruits of Understanding's gimmick is to have a decay counter, which, when at 1, makes them use decay, a strong, unclashable but dodgeable AoE skill. Ideally, you want to kill them before they get there. They also have black damage as a passive, which adds SP damage to their attacks. While the Fruits of Understanding all look the same, there are 3 different versions, which have different max HP, decay timer, and skills. The higher the HP, the lower the decay timer, and the stronger the skills, with access to a 3 attack weight 1. So overall, just beat them up ASAP. Their weaknesses are mainly Lust, Gloom, but especially Sloths that is fatal. They also have slight Pierce and Blunt weaknesses, but it doesn't matter as much. Now about Grant Us Love. It has 3 parts, the body, with the main bulk of HP, and 2 arms, being severable, meaning you can't hit them once broken. The arms have high stagger threshold, so it's easy to kill them quickly. It also inflicts black damage, aka SP damage as well. The 2 things to know are that its block skill annoyingly gives it protection, and that if you don't kill it in 4 turns, you will take a 10 attack weight, unclashable, high damage AoE with a 100 flat damage bonus, aka most likely a team wipe. Since hard is a chain battle, you can still afford it if you have backups. Here are its weaknesses. This time, Gloom is at center stage, with Lust, Sloth and Blunt following. This one also has resistances against Wrath, Envy, but mostly Slash, so be careful about that. Last thing to know about the stage, your first deployed unit has a Team Captain buff, exchanging one of your skill 1 by skill 3 in your skill rotation, so you have 2 of each, and when you kill a unit you get more ego resources for the team that killed, as well as 1 of each. This time, the unit also heals 15 SP every turn, and inflict or gain 1 more potency and count when inflicting or gaining one of the 7 main archetypes, including their unique variant, though they don't gain more Self Tremor. Now let's see the missions that have been attributed to you, manager, to see the gruesome tasks that have fallen upon you. So here's a list for easy missions. Quite a few you will probably do with good enough management, like clearing it but fast, not dying or panicking. Also, killing 2 enemies in 1 turn and killing 3 with Team Captain are simple enough if you're careful with targeting with your Captain and unleash high damage in 1 turn on several targets. Preventing the fruits from using decay should be done easily with enough damage, just know that they are very slow when using the skill, so you can kill them on the same turn before they use it. The ones you might have trouble with are those ones. Killing 1 enemy above 80% HP in 1 skill, and status damage dealing damage to 1 enemy 8 times. The first one is because not every ID is able to inflict more than 200 HP in 1 skill, and same for ego, and the second because you might want a particular setup. I'll detail the methods for those 2 a bit later, but the chapters are up if you want to check now. You can do all those missions at once with a sinking team with one of the two new Solemn Lament, especially Yi-Sang. Because of the Lust and Sloth weaknesses, I'd love to recommend Bleed and Tremor teams, but Tremor is too slow to build, and Bleed isn't too good. You might also have trouble completing the status mission with them, especially Tremor since it doesn't count. If you want to clear it quicker, going in with IDs with high damage skills that are mostly Lust, Gloom or Sloth is a good way. So before getting into the specific missions, let's review missions for the hard version. Most of the missions are similar, either the same or slightly harder, so you'll have to deal with those in the same way than in easy. The additions mostly concern Grunter's aka the boss. Completing the mission after breaking all body parts except the body pretty much means breaking both arms, which you can accomplish pretty easily as long as you dedicate enough damage to them, especially because they can get staggered very easily. A reminder that they'll be severed and not targetable after destroyed. Killing the boss with a team captain is a matter of calculations, so I cannot help you too much with it. As long as the team captain is one of the stronger members in your team, and you keep strong skill to finish it once the body is staggered or close to, you should be fine. Or if you're going solo. However, one last mission finds its way in, which might require you some specific setups, inflicting an enemy with 6+ negative status in one turn. So let's get into the 3 missions I mentioned, starting with this last one. For a reminder, it's considered a negative status any status written in red in the UI. This includes the main archetypes, as well as common debuffs, and a bunch of other statuses that I cannot bother all mentioning. Most of these can inflict 1 or 2 debuffs, and some even more. So for a few I have to mention, well, first obviously both ring IDs randomly inflict one of the main 5, so they can inflict quite a bit at once, especially Yi-Sang. Next, N-Corp IDs with nails can inflict both hit and bleed, but be careful of statuses inflicted next turn, as that is the case for N-Faust skill 2, or even for nails that inflicts bleed at turn start. Though all of it can be a setup for following turn. N-Dawn inflicts Tremor with nails though, so it adds. Then, well, Solemn Yi-Sang inflicts both Butterfly and Sinking. Sunshower Cliff can inflict quite a few as well on different skills. Well Done Cliff and Butler Otis have their panic effect with Sinking. Talisman Sinclair has Talisman with Rupture. Dead Rabbit's Mersault and Kurokuma Gregor inflicts debuffs with their archetypes, as well as a bunch of IDs with several debuffs. Well, you have the choice. On Ego especially, this adds up with all fragility types. Legerdemain, Holy Days, Wishing Cairns, Ebony Stem, Chains of Others, Crow's Eye View, again, you have the choice. Just make sure to not overlap debuffs. I still have to mention the best ego for it, X-Nails, which inflicts 4 statuses at Threat Spin 4. Just one thing, since you might need several skills, doing it on Grantaslov's body might be the safest choice. Depending on the situation, it might affect your team building, so you might need another try if you didn't bring the right ideas, or leave some other missions aside. The second mission I want to talk about is dealing damage to an enemy with status damage 8 times for easy and 18 times for hard. So first, let's be real. You're most likely doing the hard version on the boss body again, while you don't have much of a choice for the easy one, except the fruit variation. Second, Burn can add a proc or 2, but is way too slow. Bleed as well, since most individual enemies or body parts don't use enough coins to be fast enough, like 2 to 3 per turn, unless you use Sous-Chef Gregor and lose Clash with skill 3. So your best choices are still Rupture and Sinking. For Sinking, adding Butterfly count will double the proc, so both Solemn Lament are easy choices, as you can reduce the number of hits to 4/9. Otherwise, Sinking by itself, as long as you're inflicting enough count, should work. When you're doing it, make sure to not kill your target, so using more coins with less power is advised. Because of the mana from Faust, as Otis might do too much damage, is an example to keep count going. Fruits are still weak to Sloth, Lust and Gloom, so careful. This also means that Sinking will deal more damage than Rupture. One way to set up as well can be with Talisman Sinclair, which will make it so every hit will inflict Rupture that you can proc instantly. Ring Sang being able to inflict count from everything can ease the task, as inflicting both Rupture and Sinking will reduce the number required, and adding Bleed or Burn to it will add a few more damage instances. Overall again, when you choose a target, try using your weaker skills on it, while still inflicting count. Now for the last mission, which might be the one you might have the most trouble with if you didn't pull SL Yi-Sang at least. killing an enemy with 80% plus HP in one skill 3 times for the other version. So to note, 80% HP means you might be able to hit it once before if you need a safer range, so you might have more options, especially because they can inflict understanding on themselves, increasing damage taken. However, I went and tried several setups that might allow you to do it from full HP in case you don't have the new Walpurgisnacht. So I can affirm it is possible with all the things listed here, which I'm gonna detail. I also suspect those to be able to, but I didn't try. For Wimbit in particular, it is too random for me to care. For Yoshu as well, serious Skullbuster can kill, but doing it more than once is tricky, as only Ashes remains prevents from keeping charge between turns, but you can probably still do it by making sure she can do one every 2 turns. A reminder that Team Captain gets more skill 3, so it will be easier to set up, and that will also allow you to kill 3 fruits with them, but it is not mandatory. But anyway, first of all, if you have Lamenty Sang, just use skill 3 at full ammo or close to. It will instantly delete the fruit. No question asked. Then Solemn Lament Gregor can also guarantee a kill in 5 or 6 coins. However, be careful that it has 3 attack weight, and therefore should be kept for safety when other enemies are dead or very close to. Now before going to the others that might be trickier, a pause to talk about supports. A few options can be slightly short from killing, and using support can actually ensure the kill. Here are some of the most common and useful options to increase damage, as well as a few others depending on the type. Doing the fight solo is the easiest way to ensure passives land on their target and that they get the kill. However, passives require Sin, so make sure you can activate them. The Team Captain buff gives resources on every kill, so you're guaranteed to have them by wave 3, but it will depend on the setup. Some might be done with a tank in as a second slot, either to make sure the captain survives, or to add missing synths. Rodion and Zweigregor are good examples. Also, be careful with Zain resistances, as you want to avoid ND weaknesses. I did the first 2 on stream, so you can check the full try there if you want. So first, Wild Dentist Cliff skill 3 can do enough damage, as long as you have enough coffees. So spend your first turns building it up using counters to get Dullahan and skill 3 boosted. Once you have enough, using a corroded ego the turn before, such as AEDD that you can fuel, will help rolling tails. You can one-shot the later ones as long as you roll 1 tails. I did bring Rodion to help with tanking on this one. Next, Twinfoot Gregor can also kill them with skill 3. Once you've built up poise, which isn't too hard if he's captain, you can build up coins by hitting those you don't want to one-shot, and then use skill 3 on the other at full coins. Be careful to avoid using it with less coins, especially because you only have 7 ammo for the whole fight. You might want to keep 1 or 2 for Grantus Love. A mention for LCCB ratio support for this one. I did it solo, using evades on the first turns to avoid skills. The next ones I found were off-stream. So you can also do it with Pico this Cliff solo. By getting staggered early and surviving, you can then control the damage you take, as you're mostly resisting it, to get close to like 20 HP, allowing a 7-knot with 6 envy race to one-shot every enemy as long as you roll hits. You can do the wall wave 3 like this. I mentioned that his counter gives Wrath, good for Regent's passive, and using skill 1 allows you to stack on poise count, though you might have trouble with potency if you don't use Bieldon or set up with Nagapun. Last mention, with supports Multicorac Faust is also able to one-shot enemies pretty easily. Using Teleport's passive for increased damage can help instead. With Team Captain buff, you'll gain both count and potency for charge, so you just have to build up with a few skills before unleashing devastating skill 3s that will kill any fruit. Using block on the first turns to ensure survival is advised. And with that, I wrap this guide for this Walpurgisnacht. I hope this helped you. If you don't have any of the things I mentioned, well, first of all, as usual, TL, and also don't worry. There are probably other setups that I haven't discovered to pass those missions, the last one being the most tricky. So feel free to share yours if you want. Overall, it was fun. I liked all the lore reintroduced in the story part. It can help set up things, maybe for later events. Like Sephirot Meltdown one day, maybe? Please don't. And that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Final message, now that that's done, what's left for me by the end of the season is a review, and probably the archetype follow-up video at some point before. I don't have a real schedule for now, so subscribe and check the community tab for more news. Meanwhile, I'm gonna have to refuel my lunacy, my pools drain all of it, as well as my sanity. But anyway, see you next time, and keep your sanity high in this slow descent into the inferno.